Welcome to Avondale, Arizona for the Ruoff Mortgage 500. Alex Hayden here bringing you all the action from the Duel in the Desert. We are expecting a lot of great side-by-side racing today. The infamous dogleg in the front stretch has given us some incredible restarts, featuring 3, 4, even 5 wide passing. Cars and drivers are lined up and ready to go. So let's head trackside and get those engines fired for today's race.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome to today's edition of NASCAR 22 on the channel as we are racing at the Phoenix Raceway. It is race number 8 of this custom schedule season. Coming off of last night's race at Pocono, ended up with a 12th place finish, and we had a new winner of the year. That would be Kurt Busch in the 45 for 2311 Racing. He was actually the second Toyota to go to victory lane at the end of last night's race. I said he was the first. Martin Truex Jr. won a race earlier this year. I don't know how I forgot about that, but he is the second Toyota to go to victory lane, and again, the 5th different driver to win a race. We've had 2 multi-time winners, Greg Biffle, Ryan Blaney, each with 2 wins. Blaney, coincidentally, on the pole for tonight's race. As you see right there, Denny Hamlin will start outside of the front row in second. He is just inside the cutoff line after a second-place finish at Pocono yesterday. Christopher Bell and Eric Almirola in row number 2. They're both inside the cutoff line as of right now. Kyle Larson, Joey Logano in row 3. Logano below the cutoff line 8 races into the season. Somewhat concerning there. William Byron, Kyle Busch in row 4, and then Greg Biffle, Chase Briscoe running out the top 10 in row 5. Now, Biffle has won the first 2 short track races of the season. Probably could have qualified a little bit better than what I did. Ended up qualifying 9th. I didn't get off of turn 4 very well. I had to lift to keep it off the wall, and then by the time I cut it to the dog leg, it was too late anyway. Once I lifted, I costed any sort of a shot at the pole. I don't even know if I would have gotten the pole, to be completely honest, because I didn't think I lifted that much to cost myself that much time, but I guess that's all that really it matters in that essence. So we do have the expert difficulty on as usual. Now, this is a racetrack where we could see a lot of cautions in today's race. I would not be shocked if we end up seeing a lot of yellows, and I also wouldn't be shocked if we don't see hardly any cautions at all. So you're going to have to play the strategy out as best as we possibly can and kind of go from there. Wade Zielinski, Caden Spears, Billy Kramer, and others, welcome into the stream. Let's get tonight's race underway. Be sure to hit the like button, subscribe for more daily NASCAR content as we are getting ready for tonight's live commentary action once again. Just as this last weekend was 312 laps, 312 miles around this 1 mile flat short track, Phoenix, Arizona. Green flags in the air, we're underway. Ryan Blaney leading the field to the green. And it looks like Biffle's going to be able to hang on in front of Austin Cindric at least. The field will make it through turns 1 and 2. Biffle trying to get a pass back on the 14 of Chase Briscoe. Not quite going to be able to get him there. He's going to cut it down to the dog leg on the front stretch. Taking that shortcut, Blaney already pulling away. In the 12, Briscoe almost gets back underneath of Greg Biffle. Biffle did a good job cutting him off. Byron with a run in the 24 car. Biffle outbreaks him though into turns 3 and 4. Gets by him but can't get by the 22 car of Joey Logano, who stays to his outside. Biffle able to roll the entrance to the corners a lot better than everybody else. Blaney off to a fast start. Denny Hamlin, his second, might be holding this group of cars up. Logano dive bombing now underneath Kyle Busch. He saw a big wiggle from the 18. Biffle just kind of staying in line right now. Gonna look to go to the outside lane. Try to help his drive off, potentially. He's definitely going to help his drive off. Boy, Joey Logano and Kyle Busch really going at it. There's an aggressive side trap from Busch. Logano going up the hill. Contact with Almirola. Biffle clears Kyle Busch after his mistake. Briscoe to the inside of the 18 as well. Logano making way to 5th place, getting by Eric Almirola. Greg Biffle still stays underneath the 10. Passing definitely possible here in the early going of this race. And Biffle taking that shortcut through the dog leg again. Drives it in really deep underneath the 22 car of Joey Logano. Trying to keep pace with him, just can't do it. Patrick Shatterly, Alan Barkley, thanks for tuning into the stream. Also, a little contact with Kyle Larson in the 5. Biffle got held up as a result. More contact now between Larson and Logano. Before Logano dives it off down to the bottom, slides in front of Larson. Biffle to the outside of the 5. Gonna get there. Logano to the inside of the 20 of Bell. I believe Biffle has cleared the 5. Little tap on the 20. Contact there with Logano. Almost into the wall. Biffle had to lift though, and as he did, lost a lot of momentum there. Then almost got crowded and slammed by the 24 of Byron, who was on his way through. All this racing for second on back is allowing Ryan Blaney to really get away with this. Biffle to the outside. 3 wide. Didn't quite hang on to it up there. Stays to the outside of the 24 of Byron at least. Oh, got into Bush! He's sideways! Around he goes and gets compacted by the 10 car of Eric Almirola. We have our first caution to the race. So caution is out for the first time. That put quite a bit of damage on the 44 of Greg Biffle. You wouldn't think there'd be that much damage for us, like, hitting him the way we did. We didn't hit him that hard. Hard enough to turn him on a short track at least, so, and we have our first yellow. Gonna bunch the field right back together again. Blaney gonna have to try to get away this time. His teammate, though, Joey Logano, in second, right there with him. How much will this damage affect Blaney? Not a great restart. Contact with Bush, and then back into the wall again. Oh my gosh. Byron, Bush, contact on the bottom. Biffle drives it deep on the outside lane. And that doesn't work. Have to get back down onto the bottom, trying to undercut Kevin Harvick in the 4. It's gonna work. It's back around him. Now he about turned the 24 of Byron. And Briscoe gonna get by both the 24 and the 44 that time. A lot of contact in the early going these first 18 laps. Another wall tap off of turn 4. That's the corner Biffle keeps getting into the wall when he is. You have to be a little bit more patient getting back to the gas when he runs the outside. It's there on Byron. Problem is, Denny Hamlin didn't get going. Biffle got held up behind him. Byron gets right back by again. Biffle gonna pass the 24 car on the inside. This time with the dive bomb move, and now a slide job on the 11 of Hamlin. All clear. Byron gets by both of them. And Chase Elliott gets by the 11 as well. So, the way I just did my custom schedule season, I'm literally just racing on the race now mode. There isn't a specific setting to make a custom schedule season. Then you'd have to do the points yourself, as I'm doing for this season. So this is all makeshift. This isn't modded or anything of that nature. Biffle finally gets by the 24 car of William Byron for 8th place. Logano's still in second up ahead, but Ryan Blaney pulling away again like he did off the initial start. To the outside of Briscoe. And dive bombs underneath Almirola. He gets it to stick off turn 4, which he does. That's a great move to get by both those SHR Fords. Moving Biffle up to 6th place. And maybe the Biff has a long run car in him. The inside of Kyle Busch. Quite going to be able to make a pass there. Biffle to the outside of the 18. Larson may be holding up Kyle Busch just a little bit. Biffle going to get by Kyle Busch down to the bottom into turns 3 and 4. And gets by Kyle Larson on the inside after passing Kyle on the outside off of turn 2. So up to 4th place is the Biff. Trying to catch Christopher Bell, then Joey Logano, and race leader Ryan Blaney right now. Still a little bit shy of the halfway mark yet, stage 1. Earl Arnold Jr., thanks for tuning into the stream. I didn't see what happened with Alan Lazard, so you'd have to fill me in on that. I don't really pay attention to football news this time of the year. Derek Booth, thanks for watching also. Not going to be able to get to Bell that time. Taking the dive bomb. Oh, got held tight. Still clears Bell, even with the contact. Thought the contact bogged him down enough, but it must have hurt Bell more than it hurt Biffle. Seemed like Bell was the one that initiated it that time. He really crowded Biffle all the way down to the racetrack. Gonna alternate through the different camera angles for the first time in the race today at stage 1. We'll be halfway through the first stage this time by. We've had one early caution in today's race. Kyle Busch spin. Almirola got into him. And that has been it. Probably lapped some cars, I'd have to imagine, but most of the top half of the field still in the lead lap, even with that early scoring glitch. Biffle seems to really be closing in quickly on Logano. And Greg Biffle closing in on lap traffic up ahead. Biffle on the inside of the 22 and clear off the exit of turn 4. Blaney stuck behind that first lap car of Larice Hesmans right now. It's costing him quite a bit of time. Greg Biffle really starting to run him down, and he's only about a second and a half off the race lead. Plenty of time left yet in stage 1. Shouldn't have to make any pit stops in this opening stage. Biffle still stuck behind Hesmans, and quickly the 44 of Biffle to the outside. And he is going to take the race lead away. Potentially, if he could have gotten by the 27, he made a little contact in the dog leg with Hesmans. And now clears him, and Greg Biffle stuck behind Larice Hesmans at the tail end of the field right now, and that will help Greg Biffle. Now Biffle just going to try to put as many cars a lap down before the end of stage 1 as possible now. Biffle and Logano stuck by Hesmans. I wonder if this is going to be the same thing that happened back at, wasn't New Hampshire. What track was it? It was the other short track, Bristol. They got into lap traffic at Bristol, and they literally couldn't pass any lap cars, and that's why we ended up winning the race by multiple laps. It wasn't really because of any scoring glitches, and I wonder if that will be the case here today at Phoenix on the long runs as well. Now, we're not going to catch traffic as quickly versus Bristol being a half mile, and this being a 1 mile track. You can see 36 laps in. And once they caught the lap traffic that first time, it's going to be very, very difficult for them to beat Greg Biffle, assuming Biffle gets through the rest of the lap traffic really well, which so far so good. Finally getting by Noah Gregson. Inside of Garrett Smithley in the 15. 22 to go yet, stage 1. Definitely going to make it on fuel in this first stage, by the way. Without a doubt. Now, I think there's definitely a possibility of a decent amount of cars going a lap down. I can honestly see over half the field easily going a lap down. And I wonder if they all fail to pass any lap cars, if it's possible to lap inside the top 10. Because I feel that that is potentially going to happen. Big dive getting into turn 1 that time underneath AJ Allmendinger. Kept it off of him and still beat him back to the gas. Clearing him, AJ in 32nd right now. Corey LaJoyce slipping up the track. As he continues to slide around, Greg Biffle will clear him also. So the plan is going to be to stay out of the pits during the stage break. Maintain track position more than likely. I didn't hear about the NXT Women's Championship. Fill me in. Greg Biffle's got Michael McDowell clear. Oof, man, Biffle barely clearing Cole Custer. I thought I already had him cleared when I moved up. I mean, I did, but it's definitely a lot closer than what I thought. Hungry One, thanks for tuning in also, by the way. Oh, boy, into Eric Jones. Blasted him. Surprised he held on to it, honestly. Oh, I saw that. I don't think she actually I feel like it was like a work. I'm assuming that is the case. I feel like it was a part of the storyline. I could be wrong. I apologize if I am, but I did see that. Yeah, that was a couple weeks ago, I think. I don't think it was last week. I think it was the week before. I don't know what I was thinking about lapping inside the top 10. That's definitely not going to happen. Yeah, 10 laps to go at stage 1 this time by. And cars did start getting by Hesmans, who is still in last because looks like the top 18 cars have passed him so far. Who was going to be the lucky one to not go a lap down at the tail end of the lead lap here, right at the end of this stage? We're diving down low. Definitely going to be well on his way to winning stage 1. No questions there. He's going to have to get off and running early in that second stage as well, leading into the green flag pit stops. Maybe a one-stop stage? Or, well, it would probably be 2, considering we'd have to pit at the beginning of the stage, so. It's going to be no stops in stage 1, and then we'll have 2. Stages 2 and 3, because they'll probably both be equal in length. 125, 127 is what they were in real life this last weekend, so I'm expecting something right around there in this race as well. Drivers have some pretty good equipment that Greg Biffle's looking to try to get around right now, including Martin Truex Jr. off turn 2 there. Biffle staying on the outside as he gets to Reddick. Denny Hamlin getting really loose off turn 4. And we'll go back to the far chase cam, at least to the end of the stage now. Weaving in and out, and now into the back of Denny Hamlin. Hamlin in 13th. 5 to go in the stage this time by. And the reason why I'm staying out during the stage break, because I don't think they're going to pit during the stage break. I usually try to take that advantage on tracks I'm not that fast at, but with this being a short track and the fact that in the early going it looks like Greg Biffle's got the fastest car in the field, I don't want to do that. So we're just going to basically be riding around in the lead for the last 250 laps of the race. Didn't it vacate the Women's Championship? Alright, well, I'm starting to believe it was real. The only way it's still a work is she's vacating it because she's going up to the main roster after WrestleMania. If she's on the main roster after WrestleMania, then I'd think it was a work, personally. And that was kind of like a way to get the belt off of her without losing. But if not, then it seems legit to me. That's an interesting way to do it, though. If that is the case. Two to go. And stage number 1. Ross Chastain, Kyle Larson, right in front of Greg Biffle. Biffle late breaking into turns 1 and 2. And you can definitely tell the long run speed is where this 44 of Greg Biffle is able to capitalize. And we have just 9 cars on the lead lap, so he did lap inside the top 10 with Larson being the 10th place car, battling Chastain for that final stage point. Chastain to the inside right now. And it is the final lap of stage 1 at the line. Oh, Briscoe went high to try to cut Greg Biffle off. Biffle is going to get a nice run off the corner. Briscoe staying underneath him, trying to hang on. Don't think he's going to be able to. Oh, boy, Biffle into the back of Bowman. That may hold up Biffle enough for Briscoe to get back underneath him. Not quite. And Greg Biffle will win stage 1 at the Phoenix Raceway. Got him in the back of the 48 there right at the end, unfortunately, but that's okay. The nose had a lot of damage, as you saw anyway. That's how fast we are. 7th stage win of the season for Greg Biffle. And that will be playoff point number 17 so far, as we are in the 8th race of the year. It's a good start. We came into this race 7 points behind Martin Truex Jr. for the regular season championship lead, and I think I'm like 5th in points overall. So that stage win's going to be big. And Truex not getting any stage points. We're actually ahead of him in points, but there are a few other drivers that were in between us that I think had some stage points, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, Ross Chastain had 1. He was ahead of us. No, actually, he was behind us by 4. Who else was ahead of me? It was Truex. You know what? That might have been it, actually. Yeah, never mind. I guess Truex was the only one. So we're the points leader for the first time this season. Now, it's not actually at the end of the race, so I guess it's not official, but during stage 1, or at the end of stage 1 at Phoenix, we are the points leader. So, gonna stay out of the pits here during the stage break, and then we'll go from there. The plan is to pit pretty early in the stage, gonna keep track position. Everybody else should have stayed out. So, green flag is back in the air, and we're underway for the stage. Ryan Blaney got a great launch off the restart. Gets out ahead of Greg Biffle. Biffle just slid the tires there in the restart a little bit. It just didn't let me take off compared to the outside lane. But whatever the case was, Greg Biffle gets back around Joey Logano in turns 1 and 2. He's going to quickly try to get the lead back from pole sitter Ryan Blaney. Running that outside lane through turns 3 and 4. Not going to work out for him there. Now he's going to pinpoint it down to the apron. 125 laps in stage 2. It's a big time slide job from Greg Biffle. Ryan Blaney with the crossover to the bottom, but couldn't complete the pass. Biffle back on the outside again. No lap traffic at the front of the field and equal on this run. We really get to see these two go at it. Biffle very clear off turn 4 that time. And we have a caution further back in the pack. So the yellow flag is out. And this is going to run us into pit stops under the caution. And I'm thinking everybody else will more than likely pit also. I hope they do. That way it keeps everybody on the same strategy still. 4 tires and fuel, no adjustments here for Greg Biffle. First stop of the day in the early going to stage 2 after a 3rd caution of the race. And we do have cars on pit road. Not everybody coming into the pits right now, but we do have lead lap cars that are in the pits. So Biffle will restart back at 6. The top 5 stayed out. Bowman, Kyle Busch, and Greg Biffle, the only of cars of the leaders to hit pit road during the caution flag. Green flag back in the air. And this is going to be interesting. Restart here. Greg Biffle with the dive bomb all the way down into turn 1. Look at how low he's going. Probably expecting some cars to pit. 1 car's around. That would be Brendan Gaughan. And we have another caution. Our 4th of the race. And Biffle is picking up spots right before it. And now the green flag's back in the air. So the top 5 cars stayed out of the pits again. We still have Busch, Bowman, and Biffle who pitted. Into the back of Byron, getting into the corner, and Byron's going to stop, and that's going to bring out another caution, unfortunately. I caused that one, so I'm sending myself to the tail. It's going to be hard to miss everything, but we'll see. We've got a couple more cars on pit road, but still not everybody is hitting the pits. Is that Thomas? Welcome into the stream. Looks like Blaney's on pit road. So every lead lap car, I believe, has hit the pits now. All 8 of them. Bowman and Busch will be on the front row for the restart, so they'll have a lot of track position, but all the lap cars in between have not pitted. Green flag back in the air again. How long will we stay green for potentially this time? Long enough to get a lap in after the restart, potentially. Eric Jones got really loose off of turn 2. Has stacked up a lot of the cars further back. That is not the place to go. Daniel Suarez about spun. And now 1 car gets clipped. It's the 15 of Garrett Smithley, and Greg Biffle just skirts underneath him. Right before the caution flag came out. He was coming down. I was expecting him to keep coming down, and luckily he came back across the track as he overcorrected it. Caution flag is still out. Woo-wee! All the lead lap cars ahead of it. I'm hoping all the lap cars pitted now. A wreck fest in the early going to stage 2. Green flag back in the air. And all the leaders back together again. Oh, big dive bomb by the Penske cars of Logano and Blaney on the restart. Biffle trying to get back by Logano. Side by side for 4th. And we have a caution further back once again. Right after Biffle got by the 22. He'll be on the preferred outside lane on the restart. Green flag back in the air, lap 35. 5 cautions in the early going of stage 2, giving ourselves 7 cautions total in this race. Biffle with the dive bomb on Blaney getting into the first turn on the restart. He's up to 3rd. Got one spot back. Dives under Kyle Busch. That didn't work. We'll take the shortcut. We know all the lead lap cars are on same strategy at least. It's all the lap cars that aren't pitting during the cautions and the wrecking, trying to survive on old tires. Caution. And Greg Biffle just got to the start-finish line before the... Oh, Jesus. That was not me. Oh, jeez. Green flag back in the air again. Our 6th caution of stage 2. And I don't even know how many cars are on the lead lap after that. Greg Biffle, good thing he took the shortcut. I think he would have gotten to the start-finish line anyway, but barely got to the start-finish line in time there. Lost one spot to Chase Elliott initially on the restart. Cuts off Blaney and Logano. Just have to hope if these cautions keep coming out that Biffle will continue to be able to get back to the start-finish line to at least stay on the lead lap. Biffle trying to run the outside lane this time. And a really good drive off of turn 2. It's a great corner. Now dive bombs underneath Chase Elliott. And we have a caution before everybody gets to the start-finish line. This is a wreck fest in stage 2. And this is insane. Another restart. People getting into the outside. Bowman hanging on every single one of these restarts. I'll give him that. Biffle gonna hang on the outside of Chase Elliott. He does. And now he's gonna dive bomb. Big block on the 9 going into turn 3. So 7 cautions in stage 2, giving ourselves 9 total. Greg Biffle's up to 2nd as he clears Kyle Busch into turn 1, and we have another caution. I mean, we're getting a lap or 2 in on the restarts, and we're getting yellows. We went with only 2 cautions at stage 1, and we have had already 8 cautions in stage 2. We're getting close to the edge of the pit window again if you're Greg Biffle. At the outside lane for the restart. They'll be looking for the lead down on the bottom. Underneath the 48 car of Alex Bowman. Caution's out. I don't know who had the lead when the yellow flag waved. And it was Biffle who had the lead by less than half a car length. We're going to get another restart here at Phoenix as the green flag is back in the air again. Bowman pitting under green. Biffle gets around him. Kyle Busch pitted also. See, now we have almost ran through fuel under pretty much caution the entire time. So Greg Biffle leads this race. He's going to put a lap on Kyle Busch and Alex Bowman. Biffle's going to have to pit here within a few laps if we don't get a yellow before then. But I'm assuming the rest of the lead lap cars are going to have to pit fairly soon also. So we'll see how this plays out. Oh, we got a huge stoppage. Cars are stopped. We have about 4 cars crash against the tire barrier at the front of pit road. That pit lane is blocked right now. There's going to be no chance for Greg Biffle to pit anytime soon. No caution this time, though. We stay green. That makes things interesting, I'll tell you that much. Greg Biffle got a pit this time. Still have 2 cars parked. trying to get unstuck. That would be Bubba Wallace and I think Todd Gilliland. Biffle pits. Hoping it stays green for everybody else to cycle through green flag pit stops now. It'll be a 4-tire stop. No adjustments on this 44 car. First green flag stop of the day. And the second pit stop total. This will take him to the end of stage number 2. It should. Because we're only going to have about 59 to go. Really don't need a caution here. We've had a lot in stage 2. If you're just tuning in, 8 cautions in stage 2. And there's number 9 in the second stage, and that will trap Greg Biffle a lap down, unfortunately. Well, he's on pit road. What is my... Come on, Gabe. I have no control of my car, by the way, right now. Green flag back in the air. I had no control over that. That wasn't fair. So Greg Biffle lap down due to a scoring glitch as he had to pit under green flag conditions. So this is going to be interesting to the end of the stage on where exactly he's going to end up. We know he can make it upfield to the end of the stage, so that's good. Chase Elliott is the race leader. So I believe the top 5 cars are on the lead lap. And then the 6th through 8th place cars that already pitted, which were Alex Bowman, Kyle Busch, Greg Biffle. They are all lapped down now, but I wouldn't be surprised, honestly, though, if Chase Elliott and the rest of those leaders end up having to hit pit road before the end of the stage yet. So there's a chance they could all get back on the lead lap. Trying to get a run on Chase Elliott. He's going to need a perfect timing caution, though, if he is to get back on the lead lap to have a shot to win this stage if they don't pit. So he has unlapped himself. Should only be 1 lap down. We won't know for sure until we get to the end of the stage, but should only be 1 lap down. I didn't even notice I was almost hit on pit road. Was it when I was in my box? Wasn't paying enough attention. Okay, so we had a couple of the leaders pit that time because now Biffle's up to 4th. Still waiting on the top 3 to pit. Biffle now to 2nd, still waiting on the race leader to pit. Chase Elliott still on the track. Well, this might end up working out for us anyway. Might. running into the side of Greg Biffle. I'm surprised Biffle kept it off the wall, honestly. Still on the outside of him and still side by side. Oh, and again he ran him up the track and Biffle had to lift. Had to lift to keep it off the wall that time. That was just unfair. 2 corners in a row off turn 2. He hits Greg Biffle to stay in front of him. First time they stayed side by side. Second time Bell finally cleared Biffle. Biffle cycles back into the lead. That's who he's racing to try and stay in the lead lap to the end of the stage. Can't blame him. Now Ryan Blaney's back in the picture. Biffle cuts him off in the middle of turns 1 and 2. It's going to be a good battle. Still got a long ways to go yet in the stage. Biffle to the inside of Bell. Gonna take the shortcut. Hoping that he can clear him this time into turn 1. He'll clear. But Bell likely going to get the crossover back down to the bottom again. Nope, not quite. That kind of worked out for Biffle. So Chase Elliott is your race leader right now in stage 2. Greg Biffle in second. He unlapped himself right at the start of the stage. Unless Chase Elliott pitted during the caution flag, which I don't think he did considering he restarted out ahead of Biffle. He may still have to pit yet before the end of the stage, which will be interesting if he does. Closing in pretty fast on some slower cars. A lot of these cars definitely still have to pit before the end of the stage. Especially the back markers. Just have to keep an eye on it as best we can, so that way we don't get turned like we did at Pocono from Ty Dillon off turn 3 and have the same situation that cost Biffle a chance at the win in stage 2 yesterday, cost him a chance to win in stage 2 today. Not just the stage, but a potential shot at the race win also. So William Byron got trapped behind a lot of these lap cars. Joey Logano is too. And Logano's in danger of going a lap down. Biffle will get to the outside of the 22 here. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. down to the bottom, 3 wide. Biffle holds on to it. Logano trying to split the traffic. Stenhouse got into the 44 a bit there. And there's race leader Chase Elliott stuck behind side-by-side lap traffic. Man, Joey Logano is on it. And Biffle's got to run on Elliott for the lead. He should have it. Dive bombs on Joey Logano, trying to put him a lap down. He knows Joey's has a fast race car, so now Biffle has cycled up in front of Chase Elliott and gotten back to the lead with about 36 laps to go yet, stage 2. Biffle stuck behind Ty Dillon for an extra corner on the outside, and Logano's got to run. Logano may have slight bit fresher tires than Greg Biffle. Regardless of the fact Biffle wants to stay in front of him as long as he can. We have just 4 cars on the lead lap. And Elliott most likely has to pit before the end of the stage. And even if he doesn't, I think Biffle's got a good chance to put Elliott a lap down anyway. Before we get to lap 125 in stage 2. Shortcutting the front stretch again. It's won at least one stage in every short track race this season. 3 for 3 there. He won both stages in the race back at Bristol. New Hampshire won stage 2, won the race, and won stage 1 already at Phoenix today. And trying to get the stage sweep once again this season. Trying to pick up his 8th stage win of the year. The lap car is right in front of Greg Biffle. Won't be waiting around hardly at all there. So, I know Kyle Busch and Alex Bowman are on the lead lap. I'm not sure... well, and then Chase Elliott, obviously, because we just passed him for the lead. So, those would be the 4 cars on the lead lap right now. Greg Biffle, Chase Elliott, Kyle Busch, Alex Bowman. And only Biffle has a win of those drivers. 30 laps to go in stage 2. I think I see Kyle Busch up ahead as well as Alex Bowman, who are stuck in traffic. No surprise this game. Biffle has slightly fresher tires than them as well. So he pitted a little after him. And he's definitely pacing well on Logano, who isn't passing the cars quite as quickly as Greg Biffle. Biffle's going to stay out during the stage break again, so that way he knows he can just pit twice. The strategy worked out here in stage 2. Might see a lot of cautions right at the beginning of the stage again also. Would not be surprised. And a little patient. There's a door closed in that middle lane between Cindric and Kyle Busch initially. Contact with Kyle Busch. 18 car gets away slightly. Logano back to within a second and a half of Greg Biffle again. And the conga line on the outside continues to hold up Kyle Busch. Now just 3 cars on the lead lap. And the third place car of Alex Bowman not too much further up ahead. Where the 16 car of Greg Biffle is at. 26 laps to go, stage 2. This is the final time we'll alternate through the camera angles today. Have any Chase Elliott diecasts? The only one I have is his Hooters orange and black car. Like the matte black. I think it's from 2021, if I'm not mistaken. Pretty sure it's from 2021. Bowman on the inside lane. Bubba Wallace on the bottom as well. So the 44 goes to the outside, and now there's just 2 cars on the lead lap. It's Greg Biffle and Chase Elliott. And I'm thinking Greg Biffle is pacing well enough to be able to catch Chase Elliott before the end of the stage, and he'll have lapped the field. get a lot of cautions at stage 3, though. It could still end up being a lottery once again. Definitely wouldn't surprise me with the way this thing went stage 2. Oh, contact. Biffle about turned himself off the front bumper of Cole Custer's race car. Custer had a little damage before. Well, we have a caution in this stage. And Chase Elliott is still on the lead lap, by the way. Greg Biffle will stay out of the pits here. And it'll be Biffle and Elliott on the front row for the restart. Now, I'd assume Chase Elliott still hasn't pit. So Biffle should have fresher tires. Green flag back in the air. But Elliott going to get ahead initially on this restart. So Biffle sails it off into turns 1 and 2. Slides clear. And Elliott with the crossover back to the bottom. And he gets back around. 3 wide off turn 2. And they're nearly wrecking. Bowman trying to keep up. He's a lap down, trying to get his lap back for the end of the stage. Biffle to the inside of Chase Elliott. Can't make the pass on him. We're down to 16 laps to go in the stage, and it's Chase Elliott out in front here, and he may have pitted because, I mean, it's tough to tell for sure, but Greg Biffle trying to get around the 9. Can't stay alongside of him there. Sends it into turns 3 and 4. Up the hill. This time he's clear. Does Elliott have enough of a run to try to get back underneath him? No. Blocked by Biffle. We've got a battle here to the end of stage 2 with that caution. I believe Elliott looking for his first stage win of the season. Biffle looking for number 8. And Joey Logano in third is closing in, but I believe he is a lap down. He definitely has fresher tires, though, than Greg Biffle and Chase Elliott. Curious to know how quickly he may be able to get around the 9. He is pulling away from the 48 quick. He's 2.5 seconds behind Biffle. If he gets around Chase Elliott pretty quickly, it is going to be very difficult for Greg Biffle to try to hold off Joey Logano. Again, Logano should be a lap down. But he is trying to get back on the lead lap to the end of the stage, and on his pit strategy, he could be in a good situation of trying to win this race in the final stage. Elliott looked like he overdrove turns 1 and 2 there. He's only a second behind Biffle. He's not losing too much time on the Biff. Biffle's car is just fast enough. Doesn't have to be blazing fast, just has to be fast enough. Doesn't seem like Logano's really gaining any ground either. Elliott surprised me with how quick he was, honestly. Honestly, lap time seemed fairly equal between Greg Biffle and Chase Elliott over recent laps. Biffle just a skosh quicker. Definitely going to have to deal with some lap traffic in the closing laps of Stage 2. Two and a half seconds is the difference. Logano's still a second and a half behind Elliott. And now lap traffic. Has been able to get through it a lot quicker than everybody else today as it is. You can imagine that should be the same here in this final stage again as well. Barely cleared Ty Dillon. I'm surprised at how low Dillon went. Like he just kind of fell in line right behind Biffle. We're pulling out of line late on the front stretch, making the dive now on BJ McLeod. Ty Dillon might have fresher tires. It's tough to tell. Might have got back in the gas just a little too soon compared to the Biff that time. Ty Dillon in 35th, had his run in with Greg Biffle in the last race. 3 to go, Stage 2. This time by. We'll get him by Cody Ware. Phil Moore, thanks for tuning in. Drivers losing an extra lap here as we're getting down towards the end of stage number 2. Kyle Larson in 10th place, about to go another lap down. This should be the final lap of stage 2 as we run. That's it. Greg Biffle will sweep the stages at Phoenix. Winning stages 1 and 2, that's 20 points. 2 playoff points on the day already. And that will be stage win number 18 on the season for the Biff, and looking for the sweep for the second time this season, and the first since Bristol, where he won both stages and the race. And this is the only other race other than Bristol he's won both stages in the same race. So you have that going for us as well. So we're going to stay out during the stage break here, because we'll probably be getting quite a few cautions again very soon into this stage, I'd have to imagine, just like we did in stage 2. That's what I'm banking on. So we have 127 laps in this final stage. Green flag is back in the air, and we're racing at Phoenix. A lot of contact getting into turn 1 between Greg Biffle and Austin Dillon. And that allows for Chase Elliott to hold clear off turn 2 with the lead. He's still got older tires than even Greg Biffle, though, and Biffle will slide into turns 3 and 4. He'll make the pass. and retake the race lead. Yeah, I'm assuming you're talking about Alan Lazard still. I asked earlier, asked me if I saw the news on him or whatever. I don't know. I haven't really been able to look at anything. I don't pay too close of attention to football during the off season, though. It's probably what's costed me my fantasy team the last couple of years. Maybe just a wee bit. So that stage break was officially caution number 11 in today's race, if I'm not mistaken. Which means we had 9 cautions in stage 2. Greg Biffle got to stay out one more lap. And he'll pit the following time by. Do the second to last pit stop of the day and the third total for the Biff. First 2 stages have gone by pretty good so far. Stretching this run out as far as he could, and now he'll be on his way in. And Greg Biffle is in. And he's not the only driver. And caution flag is out right as he was entering pit road. I don't know if he got to the commitment line or not yet. So we're going to pit just in case. That was very fortunate that the caution flag came out right there instead of when we went a lap down. So we have an early caution here in this stage, just as I expected, which is why I didn't pit during the stage break. We got it as I expected, but it was a little later than what I had hoped. 4 tires and fuel for Biffle. Do another caution flag pit stop. Greg Biffle gonna still be the race leader. I think everybody came into the pits at once there, because Biffle still was out in front, which means Chase Elliott would have just pitted also. Assuming that's the case. Green flag back in the air. Tough to tell for sure though, because Biffle immediately gets back around Chase Elliott off turn 2. We'll see if he'll be able to pull away from him. Oh yeah, definitely. Got held up though with Kyle Larson getting around him. The 11th place position. So up to 12 cautions in today's race. And one of them already here in this third and final stage. Caution right before Biffle got to the start-finish line, so Elliott will remain on the same lap. And I believe Chase Elliott and Greg Biffle are still the only 2 cars on the lead lap. Green flag is back in the air again. Couple other cars pitting. Yeah, I'm curious to find out when exactly Chase Elliott is going to pit again. As long as he has stayed out, It's going to be beneficial for him when he does pit if he catches a caution at the right time, because then he's going to have fresher tires than Greg Biffle. It's going to be tough for Biffle to hold him off. Well, there's another caution. We'll see if Chase pits this time. It's our third caution of stage 3 already. And flag back in the air. So caution number 14. Biffle to the outside of Elliott right away. Elliott still has not hit pit road. Good for Biffle for now, I guess. Means Elliott's still going to have to pit twice. Biffle going to have to pit one more time. We'll have exactly 100 laps to go at the start-finish line this time by. Almost got to the start-finish line. So close to getting a lap on the field. It's 2 times in a row. That time was even closer. Green flag back in the air again. For some reason, it restarted Biffle on the outside lane that time, but we'll hang on. Christopher Bell a lap down in 5th. Maybe even 2 laps down at this point. I really don't know. We know the top 2 cars are on the lead lap, and that's it, but I don't know who is 1 lap down. If third on back is more than 1 lap down. 5 cautions already in stage 3. And exactly what we saw in stage 2 is a carbon copy in this third and final stage now. Green flag back in the air again. Elliott gets the launch on the restart. Biffle sending it into the first turn, trying to get back around him just in case he's got fresher tires, and still Chase Elliott out on the track. How much longer will he go? Couple cars up into the wall off turn 2 again. And there's another caution. 6 cautions in stage 3. 17 cautions in today's race. We had 9 in stage 2, 2 in stage 1, and 6 of them already in stage 3. We're only 45 laps in of 127 in the final stage. Again, Biffle hanging on in front of Chase Elliott, but Elliott is just not pitting. Biffle will continue to stay out. He doesn't want to put himself back in traffic with however many cautions we keep on getting. He's going to get to the start-finish line this time, and so is Chase Elliott. We got that lap in after the restart. Could set a NASCAR record for the most cautions in a single race. We're getting pretty close. We're at 17 right now. Record 22 in the Coke 600. We've said it on, I think, every season so far that we played NASCAR 21 Ignition, custom schedule season, and the regular season, and then regular season of NASCAR 22. And all it was a season update. We got more cars crash against the pit lane, and 1 car missed the pit lane completely, stuck on the outside. Chase Elliott, I believe, has pitted under these green flag conditions. But if we stay green long enough, Greg Biffle's going to have to pit also. Which is going to be interesting because Elliott will have fresher tires for a little bit before Biffle pits. Biffle going to have a whole lap on Chase. So, I mean, if we catch a caution before Greg Biffle has to pit again, that is where Greg Biffle's going to get into trouble. Or I should say where Chase Elliott's going to get into trouble, and that will lock Greg Biffle in with a win today. A little over a quarter tank of fuel left, though, at this point in the run. Definitely going to be able to go a bit longer. Car's getting up to speed down to the bottom of the racetrack. By Hesman's on the outside. All these cars coming out of the pits gonna have fresher tires than Greg Biffle. Once they completely get up to speed. Biffle's been able to go a little over 60 laps on a full tank of fuel today. So whatever happens here, he's going to have to get pretty close to 60 to go in stage 3 before he pits. Really going to have to run this all the way out. Honestly, if we get another caution in the next couple laps, I think we're just going to stay out again because I don't think we can make it on fuel from pitting there anyway. Maintain that 1 lap lead. Depending on how many cautions back to back we could potentially get again. Decide to pit during one of those instead. Boy, he got back in the gas a little too soon there. Was on the brakes off the exit of turn 2, trying to keep it off the wall. Into the back of Ross Chastain. That launched him up ahead of Josh Bilicki. He should say thank you for that. I literally just pushed him ahead of Bilicki. I don't think he had any chance of passing him that corner before that. Oh, Logano pitting right in front of Greg Biffle. Biffle just able to get on the brakes heavily in time. Oh, contact now. Ryan Blaney. And he's stuck behind Blaney. Logano was in third already, 1 lap down. At least 1 lap down. If not more, depending on how many scoring glitches. We know Chase Elliott and Greg Biffle in the last restart were the only 2 on the lead lap. That we do know. Elliott pitted way before Biffle on this run. We haven't had a caution since. Biffle's still out on the racetrack. And he's going to have to pit fairly soon, which would get Elliott back on the lead lap and potentially in the lead, depending on how fast his pit stop was and the fact he's got fresher tires right now than Greg Biffle. He's got to be making up quite a bit of time, you'd have to imagine. Blocked by Noah Gregson. Back straightaway. Greg Biffle got to get around him. We'll have 65 laps to go exactly at the start-finish line this time by. So definitely going to be a one-stopper to the end here for Biffle. But if he has to pit under green, that's where things could be still a little interesting. Chase Elliott going to have to pit one more time as well, but if we get any cautions after Biffle pits before Chase pits, because Chase is going to have a while before he makes his final stop, where things are going to definitely be strategy based on the cautions going forward really to the end of the race.
We got about 5 laps of fuel left. Car right. Clear, clear, clear. We got about 5 laps of fuel left.
63 to go currently. If we're going to the outside, he saw Chris Buescher coming out of the pits. That stalled out the cars on the bottom. Ricky Stenhouse Jr. and Ryan Blaney. Biffle gets in front of all 3 cars. That was a late judgment call to go to the outside, too. The way he was angling going into the corner, he's about to go to the bottom, and then he just kind of let the car roll to the top instead. Immediately got out of the gas. Kind of coasted it. Pump on Purpose, thanks for tuning in. Landon Phoenix still awful to drive in this game. I mean, I am using stability help because otherwise I probably would not be able to actually drive. There'd be no way, because if I make contact with the car, I'd spin out on every track. Now, I don't use stability help every single racetrack on this game, but the short tracks I definitely do because I just don't trust the AI's line. And we've had contact many a times in this race. I would have lost control so many times by now. We've already gotten enough cautions as it is. We've had 17 yellows in this race based off of incidents so far. 60 laps to go. Yet Biffle continues to lead. He's going to stay out one more lap just in case we get a caution. He will pit the next time by for 4 tires and fuel. Chris Buescher on those fresher tires. Gonna get by Greg Biffle on the outside. Biffle down to the bottom because he knows he'll pit this time. And only have to go about 58 laps on fuel to the end of the race. So this is it. 4 tires and fuel. Second green flag stop of the day. Both times he was on pit road. We had a caution earlier. We'll see if we get one now. He was a lap ahead because he was the last car to hit pit road. It was just him and Chase Elliott that restarted on the lead lap with all the scoring glitches we have seen with cautions in this race. Sweet. Looking like I might win my parlay tonight. Vegas Golden Knights up 3-1 in the first NCAA March Madness game. I had Texas A&M CC winning. They're up by 7 with 5 minutes left. 6. Can't read, 8 minutes left. Kyle Busch in also. Not sure where Chase Elliott's at. He's got to be back on the lead lap. Greg Biffle getting up to speed down on the bottom of the racetrack. Taking a short way around, and he is still in the lead. So Greg Biffle out in front. Chase Elliott on the same lap as him. But Biffle has regained the race lead, or maintained, I should say, the race lead through green flag pit stops. Chase is going to need a caution to get back into it before he has to pit again before the end of this race. And when we see one caution, we typically see more than that so far in this race. So you'd have to imagine that would be the case again. Oh, contact. Almost had a wreck there between Michael McDowell and Daniel Suarez. Biffle gets by the 99, and he should be able to get by the 34 this time. It does. William Byron up to third. Alex Bowman in ninth still. Suarez actually in 10th place. And we passed Logano, who's in 6th as well. So a lot of top 10 cars around us on the track. I'm a very patient person in general. Still might complain from time to time when things don't go my way in this game, but it takes a patient person to do 100% races on this game. Now, tomorrow night's race at Dover will be a 50% race. It'll be the third of which on this season out of 4. Our stream will start a little later tomorrow as a result at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time once again. I was expecting a lot of cautions in this race, hence the slightly later start time, and that's exactly what happened. Well, there's Chase Elliott up ahead, so Greg Biffle had a much faster pit stop than Chase. And he is about to put him a lap down here unless Elliott can catch a caution in the right spot when he hits the start-finish line. Biffle's on the backside of it. Considering he still more than likely has to pit one more time to the end of this race yet, it's looking very good for Greg Biffle. Should be able to make it on fuel with this being just a 4-stop race. Plan is to stay out of the pits even with any cautions. No lap cars between the top 2 anymore. Biffle looking to lap the field once he gets by the 9 of Chase Elliott. Roll in the center of the corner so much better than him on those fresher tires. And mauls him up. There we go. Took a while, but we have a lap on the field, traditionally. Somewhat not traditionally, considering most of them are lapped down due to a scoring glitch. But Elliott was the lone car on the lead lap at the start of Stage 3. And really up until that last restart still. Biffle maintained his tires pretty well during the run, and Chase Elliott couldn't cycle back to the lead once Biffle exited pit road. Just has such a good race car and much fresher tires on top of that. Chase Elliott had no match. He's in dire need of a caution that he just did not get. No, we don't watch races without ads in America. I mean, Formula 1, I guess, technically, but that's also, though, because it's a Sky Sports broadcast, and ESPN has the rights for it in America. They don't air it without any, or with any ads. Probably why you see a lot of people complaining about it on the internet a lot. Soul, thanks for tuning in.
Got one right. Clear, clear.
I still don't think we've seen the last caution in today's race. We were on a pace that it looked like we were going to have potentially the record for the most cautions in a single race. We're at 17 right now. But the short track king, Greg Biffle, looking to go 3 for 3 on the short tracks to start the season. They'll have another go at it tomorrow night at Dover. On the other 1 mile racetrack at New Hampshire, just a few races ago. And he'll try to go 4 for 4. That New Hampshire race was a 50% race. Tomorrow at Dover will be a 50% race as well, so just 200 miles, 200 laps for that one. Gotta rack up these playoff points early in the year because you just don't know what's going to happen later in the season. We saw that on our first season when we were driving as Kevin Harvick. We had like 70 playoff points into the playoffs, and we still only made the championship 4 off of points. Well, I think we ended up making it by like 30 or 40, but I had a really good finale at Martinsville. We went into that race only like 18 points ahead of the cutoff line. That's how wildly chaotic this game is. A lot of super speedways could shake up the points. Greg Biffle was 7 points behind Martin Truex Jr. coming into the night for the regular season points lead. Should have the points lead for the first time this season after race number 8. After that slow start to the year, he's really picked it up. Top 10 streak came to an end, finishing 12th at Pocono last night. He actually lost some points because he went into the night 4 points out of the lead and ended up 7 points out, despite winning a stage. It's because he didn't get that top 10 finish he probably deserved. I mean, speed-wise, the car was probably 6th to 9th place car. So finishing 12th, we didn't quite get the most out of it. But today, definitely getting the most out of it with a max points day, winning both stages in the race. This is what Biffle needed as a bounce-back performance. He has 4th top 5 of the season and his 3rd win already. He's got to bring it home to the checker. Well, we still have 42 laps to go. And like I said, I don't think we've seen the last caution today. The only advantage of being European. I mean, there's a lot of advertisements with a lot of sports in America. It's just with motor racing and auto racing, it stinks because it's during green flag action. That's why people complain about it so much during the NASCAR races specifically versus, you know, if you're watching an NFL game. You know, the commercials, they literally have commercial breaks where they stop the play. Now, obviously, you can't really do that in NASCAR. They already kind of do it with the stage breaks. People are already upset about that, which I don't blame them. It definitely interrupts the flow of the race. I mean, it interrupts the flow of a football game, too. I don't know how many times, like, I've seen, like, they'll go to a TV timeout with, like, 30 seconds left in the half, and then they come, or, well, I should say, not really in the half. They only do that if there's like an injury or there's another timeout. But they do take TV timeouts at like the end of a possession when there's like 90 seconds left in the half per se. And then they run 2 plays, and then they go to another commercial break at the end of the quarter. So what was the point of taking that timeout for TV? Other than to get the ads in, because companies paid to have ads aired during NFL games. But it does ruin the flow of it. It's a lot worse when you're there in person, though, because, you know, you'll already be sitting there for 3 minutes with nothing going on, and then you get 2 plays in, and then you have another 3 minutes of nothing going on again. It does drag. Not all the time, but instances like that. That's gotta be, that has to interrupt, or interfere, I should say, with like the actual game itself. If somebody gets a turnover, and then they have like a TV timeout, and then they have, you know, their next play or two, and then they have another TV timeout, that has to interrupt the momentum some way or another. Especially if it's a home team, that's got to take the air out of the crowd. You're supposed to have that home field advantage. Crowd getting loud on defense. It's got to be tough when sitting on their hands for 6 to 10 minutes. With that calm down period.
Stay left. Clear, clear. Down one right.
There's no commentary. I mean, they'll have side-by-side commercial breaks where they'll have, like, ads playing on the side, and then they'll have, like, the race in a small corner of the screen.
Far right. Clear, clear.
It's not every time, unfortunately.
Green flag. Got two up
It's
top.
just a couple times a race where it's like that. I mean, they probably have... Granted, it's not all during green flag action, but they probably have about 20 ad breaks during a race. So if you have a race that doesn't have a lot of cautions, kind of like the first two stages of the Daytona 500 this year, you know, there's, what, like 20, what was there, like 20 or 22 ad breaks during green flag action in the Daytona 500 this year? That's just ridiculous. They take up probably like 3 to 5 laps at a time at Daytona. They'll come back for like 6, 7 laps and they'll go to another break. Ridiculous. Caution flag is out for the 18th time today. Hiking Combat, thanks for tuning in. We got 2 Germans in the chat. There we go. Buddying up. So caution flag is out. I'd imagine Chase Elliott is potentially 2 laps down because of a scoring glitch now. Green flag back in the air. Elliott not too far behind where Greg Biffle's at on the track. Make things interesting. 18 cautions now. We're down to just 27 laps to go. And we'll see more repeated cautions. Taking us towards the end of this race, and if we do, maybe we still have a chance to catch the record. And if not, we'll have a 27-lap green flag run to the checker. You know, Greg Biffle's plenty good on fuel to make it to the end of this race. Straight there from Greg Biffle. Car's okay. AI doesn't make caution pit stops. They do from time to time, but not all the time. Actually, most of the time they don't. Sometimes they do, because you'll be on pit road and you'll see some other cars on pit road. I know way back when we had more cars on the lead lap, because we didn't have as many cautions at stage 1, we had like 8 cars on the lead lap after the first scoring glitch. And like 3 of them pitted with me, and then the next 5 pitted during the next caution, I noticed. And then all the lap cars stayed out forever. And that's why we kept getting caution after caution, because they were wrecking on older tires. In the back of the pack, well, all the leaders on the lead lap, all 8 of them had fresh tires at the front. They didn't even realize it was going on behind us. We were ahead of everything. So we have another caution here late in this race. And this will set up another restart. And the green flag is back in the air again. Kyle Busch in the 18 looking to get a lap back. A lot of cars pitting that time. We're up to 19 cautions in today's race. Riffle on the inside of Kyle Busch. One car up against the pit entrance wall. That was Kyle Larson, I think. No, it wasn't Larson. There's a blue car. Maybe it was Larson. Larson was around us earlier. Tough to say for sure. A little contact with Kyle Busch before making the pass on him there. Yeah, the entry to the pits is pretty tough at most tracks on this game for the AI. There's a crash coming into the pits on certain tracks. A lot of tracks with like a pit entrance wall like this. At Phoenix, it's just more narrow for them because they take a wider sweep. And they take a wider sweep because they're pitting from the middle lane every track. I think New Hampshire, they were down on the apron all the way through the corner. I know Gateway, they're pretty good with staying on the bottom. There's a few tracks they're good with staying on the bottom of the track. But very few. Most of them, they pit from the middle or the top lane of the track. You don't know they're pitting until they pit. Jess Wilson, thanks for tuning in. $12 laps to go. Kyle Busch has cycled back into 4th place. Strong start to the season for him. Top 16 in points, looking for another top 5 run. Like to get another lap back for the end of the race. He's a little under 2 seconds behind Greg Biffle from getting that said lap back. 11 to go. A lot of lap cars in front of Greg Biffle currently. Remember back to that wreck where Greg Biffle barely missed stage 2 when the 15 of Garrett Smithley got turned in the dog leg. Near crash for Biffle at that time. Luckily he was able to steer clear just to the inside. Good thing that apron is open. There's no grass there anymore. We still barely missed him. Came down the track a long ways for turning back towards the right. Nine laps to go. Oh, Chase Elliott back to 16th after being in 2nd at the end of stage 2 and really for most of this stage. Not going to get as good of a finish, which is costly for him because he is just below the cutoff line coming into the race today. Still very early in the season, but doing multiple races a week like this, it'll creep up on us before we know it. We'll be about playoff time. Have our 9th race of the season coming up tomorrow already at Dover. By the way, my NASCAR 07 game has shipped, so I do plan on still doing the Daytona 500 on Friday this week, starting our gameplay on that classic game. We'll do a custom schedule season on there for all 3 series as we're doing the custom schedule season here on NASCAR 22, so can't wait for that. One of my favorite NASCAR games of all time, probably my second favorite, just because I had the PSP version. I played that thing everywhere I went. Six laps to go. Logano back into third place again. I'm assuming Alex Bowman is in second. If he's not, I wonder if William Byron's back into second place. And if it's not him, then I really don't know who's in second right now. With Chase Elliott back in 16th. You guys do get to vote for which driver I will race as in all 3 series, so be sure to cast your votes in the community tab every day leading up to the start of every season on that gameplay. Logano going another lap down off of turn 2 as Biffle gets around him on the outside. Down to 3 laps to go this time by. Get to the white flag, the next flag will end the race. Nobody on the lead lap is Greg Biffle anyway, so even if we do go to overtime, so be it. Biffle's got this one in the bag. It's going to be the second time he will sweep both stages and win the race. Just like he did in his first win of the year in race 4 at Bristol. And it'll be the 3rd win in the first 8 races for the Biff, all on short tracks. Got to figure out the super speedways with as many as there are in the regular season. And you have to figure out the intermediate tracks. I haven't raced a road course yet. That'll be interesting. At least I know the strategy going into every road course race this season based off our first season. If I stay out of trouble, I think I'll still have chances to overcome the odds with the pit road glitch when you pit during green flag conditions on road courses. So we shouldn't have to deal with that problem. At most of them. Some of them we still might. We'll have to just wait and see when the time comes. But for right now, half a lap to go for Greg Biffle. As he goes into turns 3 and 4 for the final time, he is going to get the checkered flag. Elliott trying to get a lap back at the end here. Not going to happen. And Greg Biffle is your winner at Phoenix. His 3rd win of the season. And career win number 22. 5-lap lead on the field, all because of scoring glitches. Scoring glitches, we did lap the field once. We lapped the field once, the rest were scoring glitches. 4-lap victory over William Byron. And, yeah, so... I didn't really, even though I won both stages in the race, I didn't actually win by anywhere close to that many laps, but, yeah, 4-lap lead. Just the timing of when I crossed the start-finish line during some of those yellow flags, and everybody else from second on back was behind it still, and they got trapped an extra lap down because of it. William Byron, again second, Kyle Busch third, Kyle Larson fourth, Kevin Harvick ended up fifth, Joey Logano sixth, Christopher Bell seventh, Ryan Blaney rather in eighth, Alex Bowman ninth, and Eric Almirola will round out the top 10. Take a screenshot of the finishing order here so I can tally up that. 2 DNFs, Martin Truex Jr. and Brad Keselowski. I'm surprised we didn't have more. There were a lot of cars that crashed against the tire barrier during like 3 separate green flag stops and only 2 DNFs somehow. There's definitely some drivers that lost extra laps there throughout the course of the race. And we get to see Greg Biffle in victory lane. The Ruoff Mortgage victory lane in the Ruoff Mortgage 500. There you go. Doesn't take his helmet off. Could you imagine if a driver never took their helmet off in victory lane? They had the visor down the whole time like this? That'd be hilarious. Have a hidden identity. We need someone to do that in NASCAR. That'd actually be kind of cool. If there was one driver that did that and you just didn't know what he looked like. Just wore his helmet everywhere. That'd be ungodly hot, though. It's certain racetracks, it'd be like 90 plus degrees. He's just wearing his helmet everywhere in the garage area all weekend. Visor down. Oh my gosh. That's probably why nobody does it. I mean, they have a cool thingy, but that's only when the car's on, too. So, yeah, I don't know about that, but It'd be cool if somebody had a hidden identity, though. Just saying. Thanks for everybody tuning in tonight, though. Be sure to hit the like button on your way out. Subscribe for more daily NASCAR content. I'll see you guys tomorrow, 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Start Time. We'll go to Dover on NASCAR 22, 50% race. And again, cast your votes in the community tab for which race, which driver you want me to race as in all 3 series, the Truck, Busch, and the Cup Series. Haven't started any Truck polls. Just started the Busch Series today. And just getting into the end of the first round, started the second round for the Cup Series polls. So, again, cast your vote at the end of every night. I'll close the polls out, and then the next morning I will upload the next based off of what the votes looked like the day before. So, appreciate it. Also, vote in the community tab for which race you want us to watch. Throwback Thursday, Atlanta this week. So, be sure to cast your vote for that. Also, that was in the community tab the last couple days. And that's all I've got. Thanks, everybody, for watching again. Have a good rest of your Tuesday night, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.